Hey, how's it going? Carson back here with another huge comic haul. You guys know how I do these things at this point. I accumulate gigantic stacks of comics and show them at the end of the month. I don't know why I keep buying so much, but I have room for 3 piles of comics here each month. And without a doubt, I have no trouble filling these giant piles to the point where I have a toy pile here, more stuff here, and then CGC slabs up here. So I guess full disclosure as well, once before I start this video, is I already actually filmed most of this video like a week or two ago, and my computer decided to do the big Windows update while I was filming without telling me, so everything was just unusable. So I did the whole thing where I actually did the CGC unboxing and didn't know the grades, and the whole element of surprise was just now destroyed. So I know what the grades are, but you guys don't. So the way I'm going to do this video today, I'm going to talk about my reads for the month real quick. I'm going to show off some toys. I'm going to get to the CGC books, and I'm going to show you the rest of the haul from there. All right, so what I have been reading this month, I'll be honest, once again, not much. I've been mainly watching a lot of horror movies, getting ready for Halloween. Your Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, Evil Dead, a lot of Dead. Actually, Return of the Living. There is a lot of Dead. Phantasm, the entire series. So that's pretty much what I've been doing with my time off, is just catching up on these horror movies I didn't watch the first half of the month, basically. So, oh, and I did go see Last Night in Soho. I may do a separate review on my channel for that within the next day or two. But I really did enjoy that movie. I guess if I was going to give it like a 5-star or 10-star, I would give it like a 4.5 or a 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. Is it the best movie I've seen this year? No, but we're not going to compare apples and oranges. If you like Edgar Wright's filmmaking, just owe it to yourself to go see it in a theater for sure. All right, what I've been reading. Got a chance to start Miracle Man finally. Haven't gotten too far into it, but I did read the first issue yesterday. It was very good, as you guys probably predicted I would enjoy, because I love Alan Moore. I love 80s Alan Moore, and this is exactly what I got. So basically, the story starts off, and I actually like how they do the continuity in this, because it starts off in basically the Silver Age, when the character and the whole Marvel family originally came out and had their whole like legal battles and stuff for being the Marvel family. So the dates that are used to tell the tale of the Marvel family are pretty much his first appearance through his previous appearance in this book. So I really thought that was kind of cool. And then you kind of get this rude awakening in the 80s where Alan Moore comes and takes over the character, basically. So it takes place in that current time. And you get to see, Kid Miracle Man come back, and just, he's going to be a baddie right off the bat when Miracle Man starts asking him questions and getting his powers back too. So I'm definitely on for the entire Alan Moore run. I have a great feeling about this one. And then I started this today. I haven't gotten too far into it yet, but this seems to be the perfect read for Halloween weekend. Barry Windsor Smith's Monsters, and it's, like I said before, it's a monster of a hardcover. Just really cool Barry Windsor Smith style art, of course. He writes it as well. It's dark black and white art inside. I'm really looking forward to digging into this book this weekend. So this is my Halloween weekend read, and the people I've seen read this in the community have had nothing but great things to say about it. So really looking forward to digging into that this weekend. I do want to say a shout out to Ruben Nieves. What's going on, man? Thanks for joining me this maybe early for most people Saturday morning. Happy to see you in the chat. He likes that Miracle Man as well. Got a few toys. Just kind of blow through these real quick. So I don't even know why I ended up buying these. I think it's because I didn't own the originals as a kid, and they're only like, I think, $10 a pop. So, and I keep running into them at Walmart. I ended up getting a few of these Power Rangers. They're like the retro Morphin time or whatever you want to call them. Like I said, I didn't own these originals as a kid, so this is just like a good way to probably get some Power Rangers in the collection, I guess. I'm probably going to unbox these and put them in the little thing you see behind me there, along with the Ninja Turtles and the wrestlers and stuff. But I had to get a green, white, and red Ranger because those were always my favorites as a kid, of course. So, yeah, I ended up getting 3 total. I kind of wish I would have saw maybe the blue and the pink Ranger. It would have maybe encouraged me to get that yellow Ranger I saw. They had a pink Ranger along with the green and the white one, but it was like black and pink, and I don't remember that costume whatsoever. So that meant nothing to me. So I left it on the shelf. I'm still collecting these All Elite Wrestling figures. Did find a Cody in the wild. I don't know why they gave him this like soft goods Thronebreaker shirt, but if I do decide to unbox it, that thing's probably just gonna be put on the side. Which most of the AEWs for now I'm leaving in the packaging, but I did finally get a Cody for the collection. And then, ironically, after my visit to the dentist the other day, I found a Dr. Britt Baker DMD from the new Unmatched collection. So this was pretty much, I think, the only one I was really looking for out of this run. If I see a Darby or a Dustin Rhodes, I may pick that up. I already have another Darby, though, from his original rookie figure, I guess you can call it. But had to get Britt Baker's rookie figure, one of the best going in AEW right now. So I definitely had to grab that, especially since I went to the dentist that day. I thought that was pretty hilarious and convenient. Ruben says, those are cool Power Rangers figures. We got Me, Three Lions or Millions information booth. What is going on, man? Thanks for joining me this Saturday. And like I promised, before I get into this giant haul, because I know some people are just going to click this video to see the CGC grades, I'm just going to go and get to the CGC books right now. So unfortunately, it was a good news, bad news situation on this. It's a 2-book lot. And it's the Turtles books that, you know, I've talked about previously on this channel. And like I said, I've already done this once. It just, the video got corrupted. So I can't feign surprise anymore on what these books were. But basically, I forgot that when I bought one of these books, it was advertised by the seller that there was some tearing on the back. And I'll be honest, I completely forgot about that when I sent this book off. But would I send these books off again? Absolutely. Because at least if I do decide to upgrade this first book, I can still get all of my money back from the original transaction. But for right now, I'm not going to upgrade any of these because they're super expensive for various reasons online. But the first book I'm going to show is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #3. The magazine size, first print, of course. Got a 5.5, which if you look at it on the front, it is the most beautiful 5.5 book you've probably ever seen. What I completely failed to remember when I sent this thing off is on the back right there, it has a big, huge tear that goes like probably 2 inches down the spine from there all the way to there. And besides that, there's nothing wrong at all with this book. So I was a bit disappointed that I sent this off, completely forgot about that spine tear on the back. But like I said, if I do decide to upgrade this, I could probably get all of my money back for the entire lot of books I bought along with this. And it's good that I now have that information. So if I did sell this raw, I would have forgot about that tear, and the person I would have sold it to would have been devastated, and I would have looked really bad, obviously, deservingly, if I did run into that situation. So still happy to have this in the collection, though. It's not going anywhere for the foreseeable future. But like I said, if a higher grade TMNT #3 does come across my way for a good price, then I may go ahead and upgrade it and let this one go. But for now, this is my copy, and I'm definitely holding on to it until I find something better. But the big dog, it's in the thumbnail, of course. And I know this guy in the chat loves some Turtles. I'm assuming that's Dustin. Could be the other brother. You never know. But we got Two Brothers Comics hanging out in the chat. What is going on, Two Brothers? But the one in the thumbnail, Raphael #1. So it's not going to be a surprise when I show this book off. This is definitely one of my best books in my collection now. Came back in 9.0, and I was very ecstatic when I did my unboxing. Saw this was a 9. I was surprised it got graded this high, to be honest. It does have a couple color breaking defects. Like there's one right there. There's multiple like hairline ticks, maybe 3 to 4 down there. So, and actually I just now saw on the back, there's like a little like color rub there. So maybe I'm just being overanalyzing or being picky, but I'm very surprised this one came back as high as it did. I was expecting a 7.5 originally on this, I believe, just kind of setting the bar a little bit low. It was probably, I think I sent this off before my issue 4, which had a big dent on top there, and I got a 7.5 on that one still. So it seems like unless your book is just torn like my issue 3, they're not grading these too bad, in my opinion. It's not a bad time to send magazine-sized books. Every other book don't send right now because all my stuff's still trapped in limbo. The only books I've been getting back this entire year are the magazine-sized turtle books, which glad to have them back, but I'm waiting, ready for the rest of the books to come back at this point. And my TMNT issue 1/3 print is already in the grading phase, which these sat there forever. So those books could come back at the end of next week. It could take a month or two before that book comes back. I'm not sure. They've been very inconsistent, as everybody in the comic book community knows with grading right now. But to have a 9.0 Raphael, this is definitely one of my favorite books in my collection for sure. Raw slab, but now this is probably like value-wise, until I get some other books back, this is probably going to be a top 5 book value-wise for me in my collection. So it's encroaching 4 figures. And it's probably going to hit it eventually, let's be honest. The way everything's been going market-wise, it's going to be crazy. And I guess speaking of turtle books, I do have an eBay stealth buy, as long as it gets shipped right, because they're shipping up medium mail. So hopefully my November haul, I'll have more turtle keys to show off. Nothing too crazy. It's extra prints. It's like no first print number 1 or first print number 2, but I will have more turtles to show, obviously. Speaking of more turtles to show, you guys know me at this point. I got more turtles to show now, too. So I did win this eBay lot here about 2 weeks ago. And the sole reason for me needing this lot, it was literally 3 run fillers. So me getting these puts me down to about 10 books total or so, if you don't count the first print of issue 1 and the first print of issue 2, because I have various printings of those. It puts me down to about 10 books total. I need to complete the volume 1 Mirage run. So I'm down to some pretty big run fillers. Probably the biggest, hardest ones at this point for me to obtain are going to be those Space Usagi appearances, 46 and 47. I'm working on getting one of those now on eBay, but the seller is just not communicating whatsoever. So I'm probably have to get a lot of books I already have, resell those, and just to get one book and a lot of like 10. So yeah, we're kind of at that point in completing this run. But I got the rest of City at War finally filled out. It took me forever to find not overpriced copies of these last 2 City at War books. I don't know what it is about the City at War run. When I try to sell my extras, I can't get anything for them. But when I want to buy the ones I don't have, they want like $20+ for them. That's just not going to happen, because besides being just low print, there's nothing really key otherwise about a lot of these. You get a couple keys in there, minors, but they're not easy to find affordable and not destroyed because they're all black spines. These do need to be pressed, saying that, but I did find an issue 57 for like, I think I paid $5 for the City at Wars, which at this point I'm fine with, because I cannot find good copies of this for cheap. But City at War issue 57, and then the other one, this one I just could not find anywhere, but luckily I finally got a good deal on it for $5. Issue 59. I can't remember. One of these is supposed to be, I think, the first Casey's daughter. It's not Casey and April's daughter like in Last Ronin, but it's just Casey's daughter with some random person he finds in City at War to start off the story. And yeah, people are speculating heavily on that going into Last Ronin. I remember the whole thing about is, Casey's daughter in this the same character as in this, and it turned out the answer was no. So the book's starting to lose a lot of steam because of that. But I think it was this one, but it could be 58 or 60. But happy to complete City at War finally, because it's a phenomenal storyline if you haven't read it. And then the other run filler, which I did have to pay $10 for this one, because these Casey like one-offs, they're not cheap either. When I went to Indiana Comic-Con, which I'll show that haul here in a second, this book was like $20 at a lot of booths. Like, and by a lot I mean like 3 booths, because you don't see this book either. But I got an issue 48. I still need that 49. And once again, these books were a little bit pricey because people were starting to call this the first appearance of Space Usagi when it's not. And it was like a $40 book for a second. Like, they're just trying to inflate these for no reason. But I got a 48. I think the lot I have coming, hopefully I'll have for the November haul, I think that has a 49 in it. That's one of the books I did need. But if not, I still need a 49 as well. Let's see what the chat's saying. Two brothers asking, how big are your hands? Yeah, I have these big meat paw hands. That's why these books got to go in the bags and boards as soon as possible, because me handling paper is never a good sign. So, yeah, I have big hands. Yes. Millions was thinking the same thing. All right. Once again, showed this haul in a video that got corrupted, basically. So, showing these books again for the first time, I guess. And I'll save this one for last because that's, I guess, kind of the big dog book I bought at the con. But Indiana Comic-Con, I did try to do a whole recap video on that. Didn't happen because of a Windows update. But nonetheless, it was a decent con for book vendors. A lot of vendors I hadn't seen in a while from the Indiana stuff. This is my first con technically since C2E2 in 2020. So I know a lot of people have been doing con hauls and that stuff. Haven't been a lot of cons coming near me or ones I wanted to travel more than a couple hours for, or I just had to work during the other ones I wanted to go to. And I'm going to miss C2E2 because of work this year because they scheduled it in December. Why would you do that? Just skip it. But it's probably not going to be a fun con unless you're just meeting up with community folk, which I really would love to do that, but it's not going to happen. We got Perry's Comics. What's going on, Perry? How you doing, man? But anyway, on the haul, I got a lot of run filler. I actually completed one of the runs I've been working on for a couple of years, but we'll go ahead and just show the books here. Still working on this run, of course. It's down to a few minor keys, but I got a very good chunk of this run completed now. That's Uncanny X-Men, the Claremont run. So these are just $1 run fillers for me. And I was surprised they were selling some of these for $1, but I got Fall of Mutants issue 225, 227, which these are all in pretty good condition, especially for $1. And then 231. So I got to check my PC again, but apparently I'm still looking for 234, which I thought I owned. That's the one with like the Wolverine Brood cover, which I swear I own that, but it still was on my phone checklist that I need to complete. So I was kind of surprised that I don't have that already. And then I just went ahead and threw this in for $1. Not really collecting the annuals, but for $1, it was a really cool cover on that one. Alan Davis did this one. The Uncanny X-Men Annual 11. Newsstand, of course. So yeah, I guess I got the gimmick up here, so I don't have to say it anymore. Newsstand! There you go. There's your newsstand of the day. Uncanny X-Men Annual number 11. And then the run I managed to complete on this trip because they had a couple dollar copies, and I did pay $2 for another copy. No big deal. But I got the new Teen Titans George Perez Marv Wolfman run completed finally. At least the first 40 some odd issues. I wasn't going for those deeper later issues. I just wanted to get like a good run of it completed up until pretty much like the first Nightwing and that whole run basically. So ended up getting issue 15. Just didn't have it for whatever reason. Issue number 16. It's $1. I think this one might have been the one I paid $2 for. It's just at a different booth, which I think is like when Tara joins the team, if I'm not mistaken. Issue 28. So that's why this one was a bit harder to obtain, because people are watching that Titan show, and they were like, "Hey, let's up the Tara appearances for whatever reason." We got Tylox the Mighty. What's going on, man? Thanks for joining the chat this morning / this afternoon. Another book I always pick up for $1. I probably have like 5 copies of this now, so maybe a multiple comic Monday at some point. Superman 74. Anytime I see the Doomsday appearances for cheap, I just end up putting them in the pile for whatever reason. So one of the first comics I ever bought, of course, was this one. So always has a soft spot. So when it's visible for $1, I buy it. Got a copy of Marvel Holiday Special for $1. Really cool Arthur Adams art. And apparently this is being speculated on because I guess Santa Claus is in it. He's revealed as a mutant, an Omega level mutant. And apparently he may be in the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, which would put him as an MCU character. So I figured for $1, this would be fun for a laugh. So had to buy that one for sure. No idea why this was in the dollar bin, but this was a no-brainer pickup. Avengers 110. So a 20-cent Avengers for $1. That was an obvious buy. Oh, I forgot about this one too. This must have been the $2 one because it was separate from the other Teen Titans. But new Teen Titans 13 definitely needs to be rebagged. Look at all the waves right there. But gotta love some Doom Patrol too, which, by the way, Doom Patrol show on HBO, still amazing. And then the very last booth I visited at Indiana Comic-Con had some killer deals on some run filler turtles. So I think, yeah, there's he did leave the prices on the back. So I ended up paying $10 for this one. But it actually, number one, it came in a Mylar, so you can't beat that, right? And then I just, it seems like it's the average going rate for this book, but I just wanted to check this one off the list just to have it. And that's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1. I believe this was what? Yeah, volume 2. It even says it right on there. So this is when they started to print the Mirage stuff in color. It takes place right after City at War, some time after City at War, actually. So I wanted to make sure I got the issue 1 because I think when I bought one of the Kevin Eastman Kawa bundles, is what they call them on his website, it came with a lot of issues of this to fill that run. Didn't get an issue 1 though, so I just went ahead and paid $10 for a good, clean copy of it. Paid $8 for this one. I just needed it to complete the mini series. It's Tmnt Adventures #3, so definitely needed this one. I have an issue 1, of course, before it's hugely spiked in value. Issue 2, I think I might have paid a bit of a premium on that one, but I had the poster on my wall as a kid, so I needed an issue 2. And then this was the one that, I kept seeing for $20 online. I'm not paying $20 for this book. So luckily he had a bunch of $10 copies. And in the middle of those, this one was priced at $8. And I'm not sure why it was $2 cheaper, but I wasn't going to complain or ask questions. So I picked up the cheaper copy. And then the last book, no idea why this was only $5. But it's one I've been wanting for a while. And it's probably it's not worth much, maybe $5, but Simpsons Comics #1. I did not have a Simpsons Comics in the collection, so this was a very good time to pick it up for $5. It does have a little bit of yellowing on the side, but I may use this as an experiment to press and clean a book. But very happy to now have a Key Simpsons comic in the collection finally. It's not, like I said, it's nothing hugely valuable. I just have never seen one in the wild before that wasn't overpriced or on someone's wall. So very happy to get that in the collection. Hey, what's going on, JB, Discovery Bay Comics? Gotta wish him once again a happy birthday on this fine Saturday, October 30th. So happy birthday, JB. And the Big Dog book that I picked up, and it's going to go in here, of course, and I'll explain why here in a second. Found this in a bin. I did pay $50 for it. But obviously it's X-Men 266 first scan, but I do have another copy of this already. It's at CGC, but I think I can get this one graded higher, and here's why. So obviously what catches your eye here is the post-it that says damage on it. So I took a good long look at this book when I pulled it out of the bin, because this guy also had one on his wall for $150, which had some spine ticks on it, if I wasn't mistaken. And another dude next to me wanted to see the one off the wall. So I kind of just threw this in my pile of dollar books that the guy also had, because I was going to ask the question, what is going on here? And you guys know me, I love me some newsstands, so that caught my eye. But as you can see, it desperately needs maybe not on the camera, but desperately needs a press, especially where he has to point to the damage. I'll try to get the lighting just right, but he basically explained to me the damage in the book is someone set a cup of water or coffee or something on the book. You can kind of see that circular pattern by Gambit's leg. But someone set a mug or something heavy on this book. And basically, the guy doesn't do pressing at all. He would have to send it off and get it pressed. He doesn't deal with that too much, is what he explained. So he basically if I was you and had a press, this is a perfect experiment for a press. And yeah, you better believe I just started experimenting with pressing. So this book, I'm definitely going, and yeah, you can see just the waviness. There's a great picture of what's going on there. So as you can see, it is definitely pressable. And luckily, there was no staining from what I could tell whatsoever, especially on the front cover. Other than that, there is maybe a couple hairline ticks on it, and that's it. If I could press this out, and get like a 9.2 plus, I will be extremely happy with the results on this. So the only reason I didn't hit the press with this yet is I wanted to kind of show it off on here and document the book. And I might take some closer pictures and put it on Instagram after this, so we can kind of do some long form, like here's what it looked like then, and maybe I'll do a whole thing and send it off for grading and then get it back and then explain the whole video and do all that. So maybe a plan for this book, at least maybe get my $50 worth through video production as well. But yeah, this is probably my biggest purchase at Indiana Comic-Con. So I'm going to set that off to the very side so I don't bend it further than it already is. And yeah, JB says press it out. Yeah, that's for sure. That is definitely the plan. It is going in the press. Just got to get some humidity and some steam on there first. I don't think I'm going to try to clean it because I need to practice on the dollar books before this thing or this stuff hits that book. So I need more practice there for sure. And we got Count Von Strange the Fourth. What is going on, man? I know this guy's been in the Halloween spirit. He's been putting out some great videos, some great reviews as well. I did get a chance to catch his Halloween Kills review. Definitely go check that out if you want an in-depth review of that movie. I enjoyed it. I'll give it 2 thumbs up, but I do see why people can complain about it at the same time. And we got my first subscriber ever, Fish Tropic, hashtag Fish Fam. What is going on, Fish Tropic? Always nice to see him in the chat as well. All right, so we're going to some antique store books here. Since I've been off this week, I had to hit up my antique shops that are kind of far away. I would hit them up every week if I lived close, but they're an hour away. But usually I can get my money's worth for my 1 hour one-way drive. So I'll start with this book. This is just a fun one. You know, I didn't watch the characters too much as a kid, but my whole family did. Had to get a Smurfs #1 for $2 because why not? I didn't have the book in the collection already, or at least one this good of quality. I kind of feel like I did pick one up recently. But yeah, $2 for that. Count Von Strange is asking, did I miss the grade reveal? Yeah, you did, but I'll just go ahead and show them off again real quick because, hey, we're live. We got Aggressively Relaxing in the chat. What is going on, man? Nice to see you as well. Yeah, I got the 9.0 on the Raphael and then a 5.5 on my Turtles 3. So good news, bad news type situation. But when you're collecting Turtles magazines, you didn't pay too much for them. It's all good news, in my opinion. So there's the slabs once again before they hit the glass case downstairs. Back to the antique shop haul. Found this really nice Peter Parker Spider-Man or Spectacular Spider-Man annual #1. It is square bound. It is actually in really nice condition for being a square bound, and it was only $2. And it's a newsstand. So, like I said, I don't know why it is $2 booth when he has another booth where he can price things up more. But I was very happy to get that for $2. Now, here's one that I have zero clue why he charged $2 for this. I think sometimes he just puts some like nice reader gifts into his $2 bins because I already had this book, but I paid $10 for one in worse condition. And that's the Superman annual #11 for $2 in a newsstand. Are you kidding me? One of my top all-time individual issue reads. I will pick this up all the time for $2 if I could. If I saw 5 copies of it for $2, I probably would have picked up all 5 copies and eventually just gave them out to people and told them to read it. So extremely happy with the $2 purchase on this one, even though I already have like this in a hardcover version and another copy of this that I paid $10 for like a year or two ago, just to make sure I own this book. It is one of my all-time favorite reads. If you haven't read it, seek it out. It's Alan Moore goodness. Alan Moore Superman. Mongol's best story ever, easily. And really, Jason Todd even gets some time to shine this one too. So you got to read this if you haven't seen it before or read it. Or if you don't even want to read it, you just want to know the story, there is a Justice League Unlimited episode that's this exact comic book. So definitely go look out for that. It's very good. Don't know what else I can say about it. We got Southern Comic Geek. He loves those newsstands for sure. What is going on? He's probably getting ready for his auction. They usually have a 2 p.m. auction. Haven't seen if they're doing one for Halloween weekend yet, but they usually do one every single Saturday. So if you want some good deals on YouTube, 2 p.m. on Southern Comic Geek channel almost every single Saturday for sure. Found this giant size Hulk for $1. It's kind of the point. If I see these Planet Hulk books, I'm probably just going to start picking them up if they're cheap enough. But yeah, and it's a newsstand too. So check that out. didn't know they made these giant sizes in the newsstand. So that was the other reason I picked this up for $2. And it's a giant book. It does have some spine tick issues, but I do like finding the Planet Hulks for cheap when I can. Once again, no idea why these next few were in $2 bins, but I couldn't leave this one. A 15 center for $2. I'm slowly run filling the Strange Adventures. I think at this point, the only one I'm really missing is the first one that Neil Adams did with Deadman, or at least like in terms of around sub 200. So they switch between Deadman and Adam Strange. But I am getting a big chunk of the 200s with the Deadman Neil Adams run and the Adam Strange stuff. I'd like to collect a little bit before that too, to keep filling up the Animal Man appearances, which I think I'm just missing 2 of those books, but I desperately need upgrades on some of the other ones. But easy $2 purchase there. Same thing for the, I think this is probably technically a reprint, but anytime I see these Modern Comics Captain Adams, I pick them up because usually these modern comics are always poor quality. They're always destroyed. And this one appears to be not destroyed. So got my boy Blue Beetle down there. So I have to collect as many of his early appearances as I can get my hands on. So that was a no-brainer purchase. This next one may be a double for me, but I've kind of just learned to the point. If you see G.I. Joes at this high number, you just pick them up if they're cheap. So that's what I did here. G.I. Joe 142 for $2. Usually once you get past about 135, 140, the prices online are going to be inflated on these G.I. Joe books. Especially if you see 150 and up, they're just near unattainable if you don't find them in a cheap bin. So I had to pick up this 142. I think if I already have it, the one I have isn't in this good a shape. But yeah, very happy with that purchase. MYX, same thing. You see it, you pick up this series, $2 for an issue 6. I think I just need issue 4 and issue 7 at this point, which issue 4 is now inflated because they've given up on the first appearance, so they're collecting the second appearance of X-23, but the rest of it is pretty affordable. So I almost have that whole mini series. G.I. Joe 118, not as crazy as the 140s, but pretty much anything past 100 I pick up. So I didn't have this one. I have the other 2, Destro Search and Destroy, I think part 1 and part 2, but I didn't have part 3. So went ahead and threw that in the collection. No reason to buy this besides the cover, and it is an immaculate cover. I'm going to have to take that sticker off. It's Wolverine 180. Yeah, 180. Phenomenal Andy Kubert cover on this one that I did not already have. And it's a very clean copy with that white side on there. So usually anymore you see these, they're just unbagged and stained. But yeah, I was very happy with that. And then somebody mentioned Sway. I had to be Count Von Strange mentioning Swamp Thing in the run. Yep, there it is. That's how I feel about Swamp Thing Volume 1 and TMNT Volume 1. You see them, you pick them up if they're cheap. I got a whole bunch of Swamp Thing. So usually I have most of the early Alan Moore stuff, but what I don't have is that last leg. I can't remember the final issue. Maybe Count Von Strange or someone can correct me on it, but I think this gets pretty dang close to the last Alan Moore issue. But I found the whole last run of Alan Moore, at least close to it. So I got the issue 60 for $2. Issue 61, pretty cool cover with the Green Lantern ring there and the mouth eyes. Issue 62, which I don't think Alan Moore did write that one, but it's kind of just in the middle of his last run here, so I had to get it. Issue number 63. And then the last one, of course, which this may be the last one, but I could be wrong. Definitely feel free to correct me if I am. Issue 64. I just figured them going into the sunset would be a dead ringer for the last Alan Moore issue, but like I said, could be wrong on that. But nonetheless, great cover on that one. Very happy with those. Found a TMNT Presents April O'Neil #1 in a newsstand for $2. Very clean copy for these Archie ones. That was obviously another no-brainer. Daredevil 233, I probably have 2 or 3 copies of this one, but anytime I see Daredevil Born Again and good quality at newsstand, I pick it up as well. So, yeah, if you haven't read Born Again, I don't know what else I could tell you at this point. Just go read it. It's the best Marvel story ever. Another copy in my collection for Frank Miller's Ronin #1. Once again, I kind of just I can't remember if I own this book. Spoilers, I do. But I picked another copy up for $2. And then these this guy has 2 different locations, 2 different antique shops. So I decided, since I had some time on my hands, I went to his other store. I think he's phasing out that location because he only had 2 bins to look through, whereas his cheaper location now has 2 full tables of $2 books. So these are like, I think I paid $3 for these, and then this one cost $4. But it's Turtles. I couldn't leave it. You guys know me. If I see Turtles that's affordable, I'm just picking it up at this point. Like, even if I have it or not, I'm picking it up. So this is Turtles times Pipeline. I don't even know what this book is, but I know I need it because it was Turtles. It's part of that second volume Mirage. So $2 or $4. Yeah, and it doesn't have a tick on it. It's like brand new. So I had no problem paying $4 for that. $3 books. Like I said, just picking up these Strange Adventures. Nice white pages, or white, I think it's like off-white pages on the inside, but still presents very clean on the outside. So I had no problem paying $3 for that. This one's definitely got to go in the presser. Still, it's not falling apart like some of the other House of Mysteries I've seen. House of Mystery 196. Still filling this front as well. I need to put together a list on my phone because I don't know how many of these I already have and don't already have. So when I'm out in the wild, I end up buying a lot of doubles on House of Mystery. But at this point, if they're not falling apart, I end up buying them for like $3. And then Run Filler Swamp Thing for me. I'm surprised I did not already have this one. Issue 35. So right in the dead middle of the first run of Alan Moore. Apparently I didn't have this one. I think I just read it digitally when I did that read. But yeah, I definitely had to make sure I had a good quality on this. So $3 for that. That was a no-brainer. Let's see what the chat's saying. We still got Fish Tropic hanging out. We got Aggressively Relaxing saying hi to everybody. Says, I'm trying not to buy G.I. Joe on site, but if I don't start, we'll get them all, I guess. Guess I got to start. Like I said, my buying strategy on G.I. Joe is I just buy the later issues. I think I've already pretty much got every key from the early run. Like I got the silent issue. I got a couple number ones under my belt at this point. I got one off the CGC now. I got that, I think, issue 32. A lot of people were looking at for whatever reason. I got the first Destro. So pretty much everything after 100 is all I'm looking for at this point, even though I've got a good chunk of that done. It's the 150s and up that's going to be extremely difficult. And yeah, that's where I'm at there. Count says, Swamp Thing 64 is the last issue. I can remember the cover in my head, but not the issue number. Thank you for that. And then he also says, I stumble on House of Mystery now and then for $1 or $2. It puts me in a frenzy, and I end up with doubles too. Yeah, like I said, I know the feel. I think actually we'll go to this pile next, actually, because I think I probably have a few more in this pile, maybe. So my local shop, occasionally, yeah, I do have a House of Secrets in here. Occasionally, he'll sneak in some dollar bin books that really don't belong in the dollar bin. I already started bagging some, but I kind of gave up because they need to go in the press first. Some of these are just pressing experiments, but they were $1. So if I mess them up that bad, it's no big deal. Got this book finally in the collection, Spectacular Spider-Man 112. Barely even a tick on there at a newsstand. This is one of those ones last year I was going to pull out for when I was on the Kamagori's Christmas special. Turned out I didn't have the book. So 10 months later, I finally own it for $1. Happy with that find. Nice little $1 buy here, but it is a reader copy all day, every day. Marvel Premiere number 3. Some great Barry Windsor Smith, Stan Lee goodness on Doctor Strange. This pretty much starts like, I think it was an 11 or 12 issue run he had on Marvel Premiere before other characters started making their first appearances. But if you're looking to collect Doctor Strange keys, this is definitely up there. I already have a good condition one on this. Not a great one, but a good quality condition number 3. But I'm like, I'm not going to leave that there for $1. But the biggest defect is right there. There's just some complete book degradation going on that goes through the whole book. It's not just a cover chip. It's the whole book that goes down like that. But everything, like, I was surprised the cover's intact and everything. So I just threw it in the pile for $1. That was, once again, no problem. And the ones that, before I bag and board, I think I'm going to like try to press and clean just to at least practice some cleaning techniques on some older Bronze Age books. Creature on the Loose number 20. So, like I said, you see these for $1. You pick them up at least for a good read. House of Secrets 108. And as you could tell, this is going to be one of my spine repair examples I'm going to try to use here. As far as I know, everything's still attached. But yeah, it is the spine roll from Dante's Inferno, every circle of hell going on there. So I'm going to play this book and see what I can do with it. There's a great picture right there of the spine. So I'm going to see what I can do. See if I can repair that one. Also got issue 105. Really like that cover on that one. Does have some staining, but hey, $1, you're going to pick them up as readers. I mean, that's a no-brainer for sure. I need to read the source and come up with something besides that. Chamber of Chills. Couldn't forget Marvel. I have a Chamber of Chills #1, I believe. So figure I'd start run filling this a little bit. Got an issue 3 once again. Need some spine work on that. That'll be a fun experiment. And then an issue #4 as well. And then the rest is the Secrets of Sinister House. So I found issues 9 through 11. And a lot of people, I think, sleep on the Sinister House stuff. This got some good art in it as well. So made sure $1. And it's like, I think he actually had 10% off sale this day because he didn't have any new books. So these books actually sat on the shelf for a week until I could get there and buy them. So really, I got them for like 90 cents for being technical about it. So yeah, 90-cent experiments. So that'll be fun. Let's see what Count Von Strange is saying. He says, a couple years ago, I went to a con that had $2 Volume 1 TMNT and actually bought doubles. Oh yeah, I would have bought triples, quintuples. I would have just bought them all out probably if it was me. But yeah, those books, you just don't see them in the wild anymore at all. Not that I would never even did. I would have bought them to begin with if I saw them for that. And then the duration, I believe I made like several half-price book strips over the month of October. When I went to Indiana Comic-Con, I actually made a road trip, planned to go to one half-price books, then swinging back home, I went to a different half-price books that are an hour each away from me. It was just kind of like a 1-hour loop both ways. So these are not just from the one that's like 10 minutes away from me. They're technically, I hit 3 half-price books in the month of October. So here's what I found. I found this big, cool magazine size. Or actually, I think it's a little bit bigger than magazine size. Joe Kubert's Tour for $1.50. I don't know why they only had this at $1.50, but I wasn't going to leave that there for that price. We got Batman Adventures. So all of a sudden, I'm run filling Batman Adventures because I do have a sizable amount of this collection now. Issue 29, $1.50. $1 copy of Booster Gold #1. I think I gave one of these to Chris Barrett. So now I have the copy I gave back in my collection for $1. So anyone's looking for that, let me know. Found these for an affordable price. I was kind of shocked. I think I already had these copies. Actually, this was run filler for me. This one I already owned, but I wasn't going to leave it laying for $4. McFarlane Amazing Spider-Man 317 for not egregiously expensive. Absolutely. And newsstand. So it does have some spine ticks, but even lower grade copies of this book, and most of the McFarlane run for that matter, people are buying up big time. This one was quite a bit better condition-wise, but it was $5, but I didn't already have a copy of 308. Newsstand once again. So that was probably one of my bigger purchases, I guess, besides the Gambit book, is a $5 Spider-Man comic. Then just some 20-cent finds. Got a Lobo Chains of Love for 20 cents. So that was cool. Beasley art on that. Or no, Dan Brereton. Sorry. Used to the Simon Beasley, but Dan Brereton did that one. Found a Team America #1 for 20 cents. No desire to see what Team America is all about, but this Marvel around this era for 20 cents. Yeah, I'll take that all day. I have multiple copies of Crisis books, but for 20 cents, I had to rescue this one from the bin of obscurity, even though it does have some cover chipping on the side there and a little bit of staining on the back. I have a very soft spot for Crisis books, so I see them, I pick them up. Found a Earth 225. This book is kind of seeing a lot of heat because of the Michael B. Jordan announcement for the Van L Superman. The one that's seeing a lot of heat is the cover A. This is the cover B, but I think he still makes an appearance. So obviously this is more than 20 cents. So I may be able to use that to trade off for something bigger and badder one day. Booster Gold #20. It is not ticked off. All can get out for a black cover. So I bought it for 20 cents. Just getting these random Avengers books if I see them for 20 cents. Usually even at the dollar at this point, I leave them. But if they're dirt cheap, I'll pick them up. No Avengers from the Hickman run, issue 13. Found an issue 5 for 20 cents. And then shout out to a Poor Man's Comics. He's kind of taught me that if you see the Marvel random second printings, you pick them up. Not only that, I found the first printing and the second printing for 20 cents on issue 4. So I like the cover difference there with the red and the blue. So like I said, not run filling that per se, but I couldn't leave them for that cheap. Got a coffin bound. I think this has got to be number 1. Yeah, that's why I bought it. And it was a random third print. I didn't know they went that high on printings for some of these image books. So threw that in the pile. Got a Dark Agnes number 1, just like the Stephanie Hans cover on that. So I threw it in the pile. Kind of same thing for this. J. Scott Campbell for 20 cents. Threw it in the pile. Even I think I have another one of these coming up. They, for some reason, like they just had so many copies of this, so they didn't bag them and board them and put them in for $1. They just wanted to get them out of the store. So I think I've ended up buying a lot of copies of that. Cool Spider-Man 2099 variant on Miss Marvel number 4. Found this. This was $2, not $1. Got a third printing on the Wade and Samney Black Widow run. Starting to run fill some of this Bendis Iron Man because you get a lot of Riri Williams appearances later on, but I just ended up buying like the whole pile they had. Issue 14, because I think a lot of people are going to start looking at the whole run, let alone just the Riri appearances at some point. Or, you know, I'd probably just, if I was going to sell these, which I probably will down the line, I'm just going to pat them all together. But there is Riri's issue 2. The run before that's issue 6. Most of them are from the run before that. There's issue 10, issue number 11. And then I got some older Iron Man for $1, issue 230 in a newsstand. Issue number 222. And Mass Effect. I am having some good luck getting these Mass Effect books that I've been looking for. Got Homeworld's issue number 4 for $1. Like I said, you just don't see these, so it's kind of just gotten to an automatic pickup for me. If I see Mass Effect for cheap, I just throw it in the pile. So Edge of Spider-Verse number 3 for $1. This might be the second run of Edge of Spider-Verse. With Marvel books, I've lost track of first, volume 1, volume 2. They just do so many now. BuyMeToys.com exclusive, Secret Wars number 1, Del Keown variant cover on that. That was a store exclusive. Civil War II, Choosing Sides. Just got it for the awesome Kate Bishop appearance because the Kate Bishop stuff's going up. Here's one I was shocked to find for $1.50. I was looking for this book for like a decade. I bought a lot maybe last year at my local shop to get this book. And as luck will have it, once you get the book, you'll find multiple copies of it, which is what happened with this book. So I now have a second copy of Serenity number 3, which is the Joshua Middleton River Song. Now I'm thinking Doctor Who. River Tam variant for $1.50. And this one's probably in better condition than the one I paid like probably $5-ish for. So really cool, underrated Middleton cover on that one. Probably the best stealth buy I had of the trip, besides the first Gambit at the half price books. They had the giant size Captain Marvel for $1.50. So I did have this book. I had already sold it, and now I have it back in my collection for probably what I originally paid for. Actually, yeah, I got it for cover price technically. So really happy with that purchase. A lot of random Dark Horse Star Wars run filler for $1.50. These were all $1.50 from top to bottom, which I'm surprised based on some of the stuff they had marked up. That they left these at $1.50. So I got another copy, Dark Empire 1 for $1.50. I did not have this run actually, and I was considering buying these on eBay, and I'm glad I didn't now. That's Empire's End, because I have all of Dark Empire 1 and 2, but this is the end of that trilogy basically of Dark Horse comics, and I need to read this, to be honest. I have not read Empire's End, but there's issue 1 and then the issue 2 of 2. So I was very happy to find that. Another set of books that is seeing a lot of heat recently. because of, Thrawn's going to start making a lot more appearances going into live action, most likely. And his first comic appearance was the Heir of the Empire series, issue 1, of course, which I keep finding all the books around it, but I can't find that issue 1 for $1.50 yet. But I'm hoping too soon, because I got issue 3, 5, and I think I got an issue 4 in a 20-cent bin and like 2 hauls ago. And then there's issue 6. So I'm actually really close to completing the Heir of the Empire run now. Another run that they had a good sizable chunk of, which I think I got it all, actually. I'm just kind of piecing it together. They actually had the entire run of the Splinter of the Mind's Eye, which, if I remember right, this adapts a tale. I think it's in between A New Hope and Empire, if I remember correctly. So there's issue 1, which, I mean, you may as well at least get it for these awesome Hugh Fleming covers. Issue 2. Issue number 3, and it's just, Luke and Leia pretty much stranded on a planet on their own, and they got to get off of that planet and survive, basically. And issue number 4, like I said, I know it takes place in between 2 of the original trilogy movies. Obviously, I just can't remember if it's the first, in between the first set or the second set. Couldn't remember if I own this one. I feel like I keep saying that a ton, but I do. But I found another copy, probably, of Sin City, A Big Fat Kill. It was $1.50, so I didn't want to leave it laying there. I feel like I have issues 2 through 5, so I didn't want to risk leaving the issue 1 there, so I threw that in the pile. Got Star Wars Tales the Jedi number 1. Once again, $1.50. We're getting into the last little bit of books here. I think this is from my haul this week, from the closest half-price books. So run filling this Daredevil run. I don't know why this one was $2 compared to some of the other stuff I found, but yeah, it's $2 for $2.82. Did not know this cover existed on X-Men Red, but this is the second print of X-Men Red number 1. I have this whole run. I did not have this cover, though, so I was happy to pick that up. Wonder Woman 16. Perez written, Perez drawn. Could not leave that there for $1. Like I said, if I was going to overcharge for something, I would have put the $2 on this, probably. That's just me, though. Found another copy of Swamp Thing number 1 from the New 52 for $1. Another copy of Supergirl as well for $1 from the New 52. More Mass Effect. So I think I've slowly been piecing together this foundation run of books. And I've been waiting for them to drop these, and they finally did. So there's an issue 1, an issue 2, and then an issue number 3. So I think I have like everything past that now. I got to see if I have issue 4. That may be the only one I'm missing. But they put out they've been putting them out like slowly but surely. And for some reason, like they put them out backwards. The last issue of Dark Avengers, 190 because of legacy numbering somehow. So another one, kind of see it for $1. I just go ahead and throw them in the pile. Daredevil, $2.65. This one was $1 for some reason, even though the other one was $2. I guess they were just condition rating it, maybe. $1.50 on 201. I said, don't know why they're Daredevil. They're all Googling, I guess, or eBay searching. And then last bit of 20-cent books, and now I'll conclude the haul for the day. Got this Guardians of the Galaxy Battle Lines variant. I guess this is issue 5. This has a cool-looking cover, so 20 cents, threw it in the pile. More J. Scott Campbell goodness for 20 cents. There's the issue 4. Phenomenal cover there. And then issue number 3. And to put a cap on Halloween here, couldn't remember if I own these or not. I wasn't going to leave them in the bins for 20 cents. Got the Nightmare on Elm Street cover swipe of Deceased number 2. This is the cover I probably originally bought back when it came out. And then issue number 3 with that, what is this? The Conjuring? One of the Conjuring movies, I think, cover there for issue 3. They had a ton of these. So basically, I just picked the one in the best condition and put it in the pile. I could have bought probably 8 copies of this, but I don't know why I would have done that. Besides just to maybe flip them for $1, which that's a lot of work nowadays. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this comic haul. If you want to see more of what I got planned in November, check out below the Modern Men Comic Horror playlist. We've actually, by we I mean myself, Comic Man Andy, and Drew Manchu, which shout out to Drew. He's doing the editing for the upcoming Modern Men episode. So we've actually already recorded 2 Modern Men's as of this live stream. We've read Canto, which that's going to air, I think, November 8th on a Monday, 10 p.m. And then we also did The Origin of Venom, which that will hit Monday at 10 p.m. So November 1st, we're going to try to put out at least a video once a week for maybe this next 6 to 8 weeks. Then we're going to take a little bit of time off for the holidays and then come back with a big presence in January. By big presence, I mean we're going to have a big saga party. So if any Saga fans out there, hit me, comment me, or Drew Manchu up. We're just going to have a big celebration of Saga. It's going to be a Modern Men special because the book's coming back in January. So, yeah, if you guys are interested in that, definitely, hit me up, Instagram, Seawater19, comments below, however you want to. But the playlist for Modern Men is below if you want to catch those as they come out. And I think we're going to read New X-Men E for Extinction next. So that will be airing in November. And probably the bigger episode we got coming up, we're going to be reading the Hawkeye by Matt Fraction run, at least the first trade of that. And then I think Comic Smiths Explained, Jason Cantu is going to join us for that episode. So definitely look out for all that coming up in November. But definitely big thank you guys for hanging out in the chat today. Don't forget to leave a comment below if you're watching this on Rewind I want to see what you guys thought of the books, what feedback you got, all that fun stuff. But until next time, dude, stand